Trevor, welcome back to our show. Today, we're going to be discussing fasting. So tell us about what your idea of fasting is and how that can help people's health.
Right. So, my encouragement and recommendations for fasting come from a personal perspective. And so, I was the person who, for about 25 years of my life, just had a very high consumption of calories nonstop. I mean, I came from the camp where you set your alarm clock for 2 a.m. to eat multiple peanut butter and jellies and then drink a protein shake, go back to bed. You carry loaves of bread with you throughout college. So, this was all related to college football. So, at the time, a lot of those caloric pushes help gain weight, but it leaves lasting damage. So to summarize everything is I was the last type of person that would fast. And so during COVID, I did some initiatives with some of the doctors I worked with, some of the patients that I worked with, where we tried to get people to just take a step forward, one step from zero, just to step one of fasting. And what I found was for someone like me who had never fasted, it was extremely scary to go a day without food. You think there's no way I'll be able to work. I'm going to be miserable. All these myths that they're completely untrue. And what I did is I made a goal for one day a week, only one day a week, 24-hour fast. And even so much, I regressed that back to I'm not going to fast the entire calendar day. I'm going to fast from 5 p.m. the day before to 5 p.m. the next day, right? So I'm going to go to Tuesday's dinner. I'm going to eat it. And then I'm not going to eat till Wednesday's dinner. So this is like the baby step, right, for me. But what I found is that once I mentally shut off the food until 5, I didn't have to think about it. So all of my hunger hormones, all of my digestion wasn't starting. My enzymes weren't releasing from the pancreas. So it's like I was able to just let it go instead of being, oh my gosh, I have to hurry up and get to my next meal. It wasn't a mental stressor. So what I felt was extremely high energy because I wasn't rushing a bunch of food at lunch down to my gut and crashing. I also found that I got a lot of work done. I was extremely productive because the entire day from 7 a.m. till 3 or 4, I was just productive. And as opposed to when am I going to eat? Okay, now I'm sugar crashing. Oh, I should go get a coffee. Those types of bad habits. And so fasting to me was a step in the right direction, one day a week, a commitment not to eat for 24 hours, where I noticed my gut health improved significantly, my mental health improved significantly, and my productivity improved significantly. And my takeaway was this is a habit I should actually expand on and start doing multiple days per week or adjust it into all of the different facets and variables of fasting that you talk about, Shawn.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in fasting. I think metabolically, I think it's how our bodies were designed. If you look at us traditionally in a hunter-gatherer society 200 years ago, we might have some berries and vegetables saved up when we're gathered. Maybe in the winter we wouldn't, maybe we would, but we wouldn't eat a big meal until we had a hunt. And that might be 2 to 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. So there might be 1, 2, 3 days where you go without a lot of calories. And our bodies, because of that, our bodies are incredibly good at storing energy as fat. Mm-hmm. I mean, we can look at that as a problem in America. That's one of our problems, is that we are good at storing fat. So I think fasting is one of the best ways to become more metabolically healthy. And for those of you that say, well, I need to do it, because I work out, and I get that, although there's probably at least one day a week, like you say, that you don't work out. Like me, I pick a day to fast where I don't work out. And most people overeat around their workouts. In my opinion, if you are doing mostly gym work, you don't need to eat before and after your workouts. Now, it depends on your goal. If you're a bodybuilder, you bet. You want to always be anabolic. I get that, but that's not what the kind of person we're talking about. We're talking about general health. You don't need to work out. You don't need to eat before and after you work out, because you've got plenty of calories in reserve, in your glycogen reserves and your fat reserves, to at least keep you burning energy for at least an hour and a half at intensity. So right. Most people don't work out that long or that intense, unless you're like, some kind of endurance athlete that works out intensely or has intense races. So you can really you can overeat around your workouts before and after. So
Yeah,
I'm a big
absolutely.
believer. And 24, even 48 hours, you can fast. And really, once you train your body, what I tell people to do is skip breakfast and then skip lunch. Try that at first. And like you say, from 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. the next day, it's 24 hours, but it's really not. I mean, because most of that time you're sleeping. So, and once you're busy at work, especially, pick a day that you're at work. Don't pick a day that you're on a weekend. That's usually not the best days because you're constantly around food. Pick a day where you're at work and you're not around food and you can skip breakfast and lunch. And next thing you know, you're doing a 24-hour fast. And for those of you that are type 2 diabetics, that's a great way to lower your insulin levels and lower your blood glucose levels. A great way.
Yeah. And on that note, you talk about cellular sensitivity. You want the greatest example of cellular sensitivity when you eat your first meal after a fast. Holy cow, that thing tastes great, right?
Right.
But everything is so sensitized. That's the best meals I've had in the last year have been that meal right after a 24-hour fast. And that's no different from your cells and your insulin sensitivity. All of these markers are sensitized after that, and they're doing a much better job of utilizing the nutrients. And then lastly, like you said, it depends on your goal. So performance, right, in a very specific competition is very different than longevity. And some of the population that live the longest, they don't even work out by the US terms of I go to LA Fitness, 24-hour fitness, I go to my local gym. They move a lot and they have all these other variables that are healthy in their population. So as like you said, bodybuilding, professional athletes, these are very different goals. But if your goal is health and longevity and optimizing those variables, 70-80% of the immune system are on the gut. The gut needs to rest. We never let it rest. Good things happen. So I'm a huge fan. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Fasting is, I think, good for most anybody, depending on your goals. But for individual health, most people can benefit from fasting.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Trevor.
Thank you, Shawn.